So I just finished watching Fantastic Mr. Fox, and it was the best movie I've seen in a long time. The way the stop-motion animation and perfectly toned dialogue made the Wes Anderson masterpiece a perfect animated film. As you can tell, the movie will be here on the list. Now enough about the amazing Wes Anderson, but now we're going to talk about my top 50 favorite movies of all time. There's so many different genres, including action, adventure, comedy, animation, rom-coms, and sci-fi movies. Now let's get into the video. Today we're only going to focus on numbers 50 through 40, because if I were to do every single movie in one video, it would probably be 2.5 hours.
The beast is out! Time to finish this.
The Book of Life is a surprisingly good animated movie. It's no Soul or Coco, but it's still a pretty great movie. The movie starts fast and rushed, and the detention kids don't fit their label as being a detention kid. Except for the emo kids. That actually makes sense. When the actual backstory starts, the movie starts to pick up the pace, and it gets so much better. In the middle, I got really bored, and it started to get a little weird, but the ending is exceptional. I don't think this movie is that great, but for what it does, I love this movie for that. I'm just going to say it, The Book of Life is...
I love you, baby. Trust in me when I say.
I do not have 10 things to hate about this movie. I probably have like 1 or 2. But this movie, 10 Things I Hate About You, is great. I just watched this movie for the first time about 2 weeks ago, and it was really, really good. The jokes were funny. The romance was like all over the place. And then again, the late, great Heath Ledger. I can't believe he passed away right after The Dark Knight came out. Oh yeah, you will see The Dark Knight on this list. Definitely. What's more to love than that? There wasn't anything really that like made me cry or touched me, I guess, like soul. But like, besides that, the movie was really good. Young Joseph Gordon-Levitt has a great performance, and I'd give this movie an 8 out of 10. There are 10 things I hate about you. Is a great movie, but I have a few like and yeah, that's why it's number 49. It's not amazing, but it's still really good.
This is Godzilla's world. We just live in it.
This movie was surprisingly awesome. The action was great. The monster fights were great. The plot, no. The plot was a little all over the place. I personally did not like the plot. And the first fight scene was a little boring, and I kind of predicted most of it. But besides that, there's a lot of strong things about this movie that I really like. The action, solid. The monster fights, except for like the first one, are awesome. 2, performances. Millie Bobby Brown is like, she's like nerdy and barely has any talking until like later in the movie. And the rest of the cast is just like not great. Thomas Middleditch's jokes are not funny. And I think that if they didn't add him, the movie wouldn't be that great. It still isn't amazing, but Thomas Middleditch wasn't funny. And then Kong Skull Island was definitely better, but the action in this movie kind of took it to the next level for me. That's why it's on the list, and Kong Skull Island's just an honorable mention. But this movie, I think, is great, and I cannot wait for Godzilla vs. Kong, but there's just a few things there that aren't that great.
You look fine.
I didn't ask.
Batman 1989 is easily the 4th best Batman movie, and personally, I kind of like it. The cheesiness of Tim Burton's direction, with Michael Keaton as the Caped Crusader, and bringing Jack Nicholson in as the Joker himself, was a nice touch. The story's good. There's a few parts that I definitely hated. And I think it's an all-time classic. And in that time, there was no really good superhero movies. And then Batman 1989 comes out, and it's like the Endgame of that year. So that 1989 year had a lot of great stuff. And Bill and Ted, first movie. They had Dead Poets Society, a classic with Robin Williams. And then they had The Karate Kid Part 3. So this topped it all off. So, yeah. That's why it's number 47.
Busting all the bells out the box. I just hit a lick with the box. Had to put the stick in the box.
If you guys can't tell, I love stop motion animation movies, and the Boxtrolls is none different. This movie is visually stunning and a little weird, but I still love this movie. And this was one of the first movies I saw that year. And there was a lot of good movies that came out in 2014. But this movie really stuck out to me, and I've seen it about 20 times now. And I just rewatched it a few weeks ago, and it is really good. A few problems I have with this movie is what you're watching right now. Madame Frou-Frou is super weird, and I think adding her into it was super weird on the director's part. But the plot of the story is kind of weird. Oh, let's kidnap Boxtroll thingies because there is a past about them stealing children from a guy who's about to get mobbed. Yeah, okay. I don't think this movie is a big movie for me, but I still love this movie a lot. So that, and I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10.
6 feet apart at all times. You both know the rules.
First thing to say about this movie is that why is it called 5 feet apart? I know that they use like a pool stick to measure 5 feet apart, but they literally say 6 feet about 100 times in this film. Okay, that out of the way, here we go. 5 Feet Apart is one of those movies that you don't really start to cry until like the last 45 minutes. I started crying a ton in the ending because it was very sad. 5 Feet Apart is based on a true story, and it's one of those movies that is sad and happy at the same time, because there's funny moments and then there's really sad moments, and you kind of have to wait an hour and 20 minutes for the ending that makes you like start to like cry and makes you feel very emotional. But you should watch this movie, or at least read the book. I haven't read the book yet, but the movie was really good, very sad. Highly recommend it. There was like a few scenes and stuff that I didn't really enjoy that much, but besides that, it's a really good movie, and yeah, watch the movie. Do it. Yeah.
Wow! If I had a nickel for every time I was doomed by a puppet, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice, right?
Phineas and Ferb Into the Second Dimension is definitely one of my favorite Disney Channel original movies. The whole idea of it is really good, and I think it was really well thought out. But there's some parts that I don't really like about it, and but besides that, I loved the music growing up as a kid. When I was a younger kid, I would literally listen to the soundtrack for many days, and I loved it a ton. So I think that Phineas and Ferb Into the Second Dimension deserves a spot on this. Personally, I did not like the second movie. I've only seen it once, so I might have to rewatch.
I believe someone phoned about an animal problem. The solution is standing before you.
Before I talk about Over the Hedge, let's just talk about the Verminator, one of the best DreamWorks villains of all time. He's funny, weird, and overall great villain. Also that crazy lady. And, okay, now we actually can talk about Over the Hedge. Over the Hedge is a great movie. It made me laugh. The cast is pretty good, and it's very funny. The plot is kind of basic, but yeah, I kind of like it. The whole plan is kind of good, and most of the just subtle jokes and stuff are really funny. And I don't personally like DreamWorks that much, but Over the Hedge is one of those top movies for me. There's going to be a few other DreamWorks movies on this list, and those all are really good. But, yeah. That's my thoughts on Over the Hedge, and, that's pretty much all I have to say. Also, Hammy. He's hilarious.
This is not a joke. Moonlight has won Best Picture. Moonlight, Best Picture.
Wow, the Oscars really sucked that year. That huge mix-up with La La Land not winning Best Picture, but also winning Best Picture at the same time. That's kind of crap, not gonna lie. Well, we're not talking about the actual winner, Moonlight. We're actually talking about La La Land. I like this movie, and I love the music. The music actually saved it, in the music numbers and stuff. Do I like it that much? Not really, but like the cast, great. The story, great. The ending kind of surprised me, and I love this movie, and it should have won Best Picture. Oscars and Academy Award, you screwed up.
Is this all vegetables?
Do I like Incredibles 2? Sure I do, but it's not great. As a guy that I watch Shafrila's productions, if you don't watch him, you're missing out. He says it's painfully average. There really isn't anything interesting about this film except for Jack in like the first 10 minutes. And the raccoon versus Jack is actually kind of funny. Jack and Edna are super cute. As you can tell, I like Jack. Bob isn't fun. Elastigirl is cool, but you see the twist villain coming an hour before it happens. More Frozone would have been nice, but the other superheroes are bad.
Iron Man.
I personally do not like Avengers Endgame. Here is me 2-minute explanation about why I do not enjoy Avengers Endgame. First, I think the first, maybe 1 hour, the first hour of it is boring. Even though it sets it up, it's still boring, not funny, and I just don't like the beginning. The first hour is just, The ending scene is phenomenal. Easily the best ending scene in Marvel history. The best ending with the final battle and the snap and everything. Amazing. The middle with them time traveling is not great, and I kind of predicted Black Widow dying, because I saw they were making a Black Widow movie. I was like, they're not going to make a Black Widow movie about her past if she doesn't die. And they were already making a Hawkeye show, so that kind of made sense. Thanos was pretty good in this one, but he was so much better in Infinity War. I just love Infinity War so much better than Endgame. And then two or three, I guess, is that the ending with everybody coming back was amazing. But all the, just building up to that wasn't great. And the whole time travel wasn't good, and it was a little boring and stuff. Well, this is the end of the first part. We got 4 more parts coming at you. I'll probably do one every week. And I hope you guys just like this first kickoff to the top 50. And if you guys disagree, comment down below. And also like and subscribe. Thank you.